This week on 49ers Cal High Sports, presented by U.S. Bank, the tragic story of the Logan football player and his recovery after a deadly car crash. We'll meet the Harker golfer who's tearing up the course.
We'll also meet the California High football player with an NFL hero and two angels looking out for him, and the Acalanes slick fielding shortstop who's one of the Bay Area's top prospects. It's all next on 49ers Cal High Sports, presented by U.S. Bank.
Welcome to 49ers Cal High Sports, presented by U.S. Bank. I'm Robert Bronstein.
And I'm Aubrey Tolliver. We start tonight in Lafayette with an impressive shortstop from Acalanes.
That's right, Aubrey. Davis Diaz is one of many spring sports athletes who has battled to find games to play since their season was canceled last March. But for Davis Diaz, the time away from games is bringing some good news. Davis Diaz is the epitome of the slick fielding shortstop. As the starting shortstop at Acalanes as a freshman, Davis was gaining the attention of college scouts all over the country. That's when Davis first heard from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they started recruiting me my freshman year, and then they changed the rules for college recruitment. So I kind of was forced to wait until my junior year when I got to visit again. And you know, obviously the baseball and academics speak for itself, but just how they operate inside the program and what they do for their players and you know, help them become a better person and a player was just something I couldn't pass up on.
He just fell in love with everything about the school, the environment. We got a chance to go visit when he was a freshman, fell in love with the school, and then again when he was a junior, got a chance to spend a lot of good quality time with the coaches and just bought into everything that they represent.
Davis started playing as a young boy. He would go watch his older brothers play and dream of being out there on the field with the big boys.
He's been playing since he was able to walk. So he has two older brothers that play baseball, and as soon as they were getting ready for their games, all he wanted to do was get out there with them. He would throw on his own hat, dress in full uniform even though he wasn't playing, and we would just sit along the sidelines.
Davis has a very simple philosophy. He wants to win whatever it takes.
I mean, honestly, I'd just say super competitive. You know, I'll do anything possible to win, and that's just kind of how I was growing up and my personality.
During the pandemic, Davis has practiced his hitting in a batting cage borrowed from Acalanes' dad, Matt Delaney. He gets lots of repetition, but not a lot of game time. His Acalanes season as a junior being cut short was a shock to the entire squad.
It was tough, just because no one really saw it coming. You know, we were out at a practice during a Saturday, I think, and halfway through the practice, our coach got a phone call saying that we had to shut down and our season was stopped for 2 weeks, which then ended up being the whole season. So, you know, just how unexpected it was really tough.
Playing his senior season with the Dons is a lifelong dream for Davis.
No, it'd mean a lot. You know, like I was saying earlier, it's something I've always wanted to do ever since I was younger, watch my brother, and, you know, hopefully being able to finish out this last year would, you know, be everything to me.
Meantime, the toughest part is not being able to play in a lot of games.
Fortunately, we have still been able to play here and there a little bit. I mean, obviously nothing with high school, but just kind of travel stuff and things like that. But just the consistency of not having games every day like we normally would for the summer or high school season.
Davis was able to travel over the summer to play in a few showcases across the country, a chance for Major League scouts to see him play. Davis is aware being drafted is another opportunity for a talented young ball player.
It definitely is unique. You know, that's one of the greater aspects of it, going through high school, and, you know, for the fortunate that kind of have the opportunity to go through that process too.
It's a dream of his that he's always wanted. I've explained to him how difficult that is and what a hard climb that is to get to that level. I've always grown up in sports, and I've known guys who were extremely talented and very few, if any, made it. So I keep telling them, just continue to work as hard as you can, and the amount of work that you put in will put you where you're supposed to be. And if that's to the college level and max out there. If it's a minor league or if it's in a major league, that's the hard work that you put in will dictate how far you go.
As he looks forward to his senior season and towards his first college season, Davis continues to work hard, doing whatever it takes to win. Davis now waits for the final word on playing for Acalanes, his senior season, a dream now out of his hands.
Vanderbilt baseball. That is some accomplishment.
Yeah, great program and great education. Yes. So it'll be great.
Thanks, Robert. Stevens Creek Chevrolet brings us the Spirit Corner each week.
Let's check in on the cheer team from Independence High School. Coming up, the Valley Christian softball star and her devotion to her father.
And later, we'll meet the California high school tight end playing for two fallen siblings. You're watching 49ers Cal High Sports.
Some see a grilled cheese sandwich and ask why. I see a new kitchen with a grill and ask why not.
I really need to start adding less to cart and more to savings.
Sitting on this couch so long made me want to make some changes, starting with this couch.
Yeah, I need a house with a different view. And this is the bank that will help you do it all. Because at U.S. Bank, our people are dedicated to turning your new inspiration into your next pursuit.
When I first came here, my goal was to be a contributing player on my high school's JV football team. The center actually not only helped me achieve my goals, but exceed even what I initially set out to do. I was able to continue playing football professionally through a lot of the things that I learned at the Rega Center. The Rega Center is a place to help you achieve your goals and then, tailor it to whatever the person's goals might be.
1, 2, 3.
Get ready to cheer for your next new or used car at Stevens Creek Chevrolet.
Stevens Creek Chevrolet!
We're ready to make your buying experience safe and easy. Come to our dealership to see and test drive one of hundreds of great Chevrolet cars and trucks. Or you can go online to shop, order, and have your new car delivered right to your door. So get fired up for a great deal right here at
Stevens Creek Chevrolet!
Go to SB Live California as your destination for the very best in local high school sports coverage online. SB Live brings sports fans exclusive articles, highlights, coaches, polls, and photo galleries. Get the SB Live app for the latest scores from games played all around the Bay Area and California. This season, SB Live brings you exclusive content in partnership with 49ers Cal High Sports. Follow us at SB Live CA on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. SB Live, the Bay Area's first destination for the latest in high school sports.
49ers Cal High Sports is brought to you by these fine companies who care about high school sports. By Invisalign, transforming smiles, changing lives. By Stevens Creek Chevrolet, find new roads. By Wingstop, order Wingstop's new all-in bundle, just $19.99. See wingstop.com for restrictions and details. And by Cupertino Electric, the company delivering power and possibilities and celebrating student athletes making a positive impact.
We are back with this week's Service by Medallion feature story.
Danielle Podlaski has the story of a Valley Christian softball player with a scare in her family not affecting her goals on the field.
1 year ago, Valley Christian senior Lauren Fulton committed to play Division I softball. Her journey to play at the next level wasn't easy, but the challenges Lauren faced shaped her into the athlete and person she is today. Valley Christian center fielder Lauren Fulton comes from one athletic family. Her dad, a talented baseball player, and her mom, a dedicated swimmer, introduced Lauren to the sport of softball when she was just 5 years old.
For both my kids, we started softball and baseball really young, so rolling the ball to them you know, playing catch and that kind of thing, and which led into recreation and then into travel ball at 10U and that kind of thing.
As Lauren started playing competitively, softball strengthened her relationship with her dad.
My dad and I actually for my entire life have just been like a pair. My brother is also a competitive baseball player, so him and my mom are usually always at tournaments together, but my dad and I always go to tournaments and stuff like that, so it's definitely been a really awesome bonding agent for us over the years.
But when Lauren was 13, her family learned that her dad was diagnosed with cancer.
He's my best friend, and to have your best friend come to you and tell you, you know, they have this disease that has a higher death rate than survival, it was really difficult for me to handle as a kid. I didn't really tell a lot of people about it either, just because of that reason.
I don't know who pushed who through it, actually. I think my family and Lauren kind of pushed me, you know, through. You know, when you have adversity like that, you know, the strength of the family moves you through those kinds of things, right?
Soon after her dad's diagnosis, Lauren made the Valley Christian varsity squad as a freshman. Softball really helped Lauren get through the sadness and uncertainty of her dad's illness.
When cancer was brought into the question, I have always been someone who has taken my issues out in softball. So I've always just like used softball as an outlet for me, especially with my teammates and stuff, because this game really, it re-emphasizes the importance of leaving your issues like behind you and focusing on your current issues, which is just, you know, be the best teammate you can so that your team can ultimately win your game.
With all her focus on softball, Lauren had a stellar sophomore season with a .290 batting average, 20 hits, and 13 RBI. Unfortunately, her season was cut short because of an injury.
I had very severe shin splints, which turned into a stress fracture in my left shin. From the bottom of my kneecap all the way to the top of my ankle. It really limited me. I could barely walk, and every time I could, or every time I did, it just hurt. And so it hurt me on the inside. It definitely impacted me mentally because I knew that if I wanted to achieve my dreams, I was gonna have to work extremely hard.
Lauren was out for 4 months and missed her entire summer ball season. A big opportunity to showcase her skills to colleges. But Lauren was determined to attend college camps, even if she couldn't play.
She figured out ways to continue to show up and participate as her injury would allow her to do it. Going to James Madison from California out to Virginia to a softball camp when many people that got injured that were supposed to attend didn't even show up. And she was actually able to participate in some of the drills, whether it was sitting on a can and catching, or whether it was, you know, receiving balls in from the infield. Pretty phenomenal.
Lauren's perseverance paid off. In January 2020, she committed to play Division I softball at James Madison University in Virginia.
I had known I had already wanted to go to school in Virginia. I have family out there. And it kind of just, all the stars aligned for me. Like, I really fell in love with the coaching staff. They're all so amazing. The school, the campus is beautiful. They have my major and they're really good at it. More in particular, James Madison just gave me the community that I wanted. It's very faith-based, even though it is in a private school. All of the girls are a very great support system for my Christian foundation.
While Lauren mostly plays center field, this talented athlete can be used at other positions.
I think I'm going to be more geared towards outfield just because that's my natural inclination. However, I did start catching in the winter of 2018, but just because of my injury and COVID and all of that, I haven't had as much game exposure as I'd like. But I know if my coach needs me to be a catcher, I will work my absolute hardest to be that for them.
Playing softball in college was important to Lauren, but she looked for a school that had a great journalism program. Lauren has dreamed of becoming a journalist ever since she was little, and even helped launch a magazine at Valley Christian.
I've always had a knack for writing. I don't really know why, but growing up I loved reading books, I loved writing different things, and journalism just kind of came as the natural next step for me. When I was in high school, I wanted to kind of challenge myself. So a few of my friends and I created an artistic magazine called Blueprint, and it's called Blueprint because it lays out the foundation for who we are as a community at Valley and just kind of highlights the different artistic talents that a lot of people wouldn't recognize our students have here.
Lauren's journey to JMU was hard. She has faced many challenges, but has come out even stronger.
She has, taken the journey like many athletes have, but The difference is her passion and her dedication to the sport, regardless of what anybody ever says to her. You know, if they say, well, you know, it's going to be a challenge for you to do something and that kind of thing, she has never wavered at that stuff and gone right through it. If she felt like she was not as good as some of her teammates, she worked doggedly at it.
Lauren Fulton only played in 5 games her junior year before COVID-19 canceled the season. With her dad feeling well and her injury fully healed, Lauren is hoping to have the chance to suit up for the Warriors one last season before heading off to James Madison in the fall. Lauren is excited to start her college softball career and journalism classes at James Madison. And who knows, maybe one day we'll see Lauren as a reporter on this very show. Robert and Aubrey, back to you.
It is great that she wants to go into journalism.
Yeah, everybody wants our job.
They really do. Our job is the best, that's why.
It is a very good job. All right, Cal Hope is working to make it easier for teens to battle through emotional stress of the pandemic.
Here's this week's Cal Hope mental health tip.
It's hard to be happy and relaxed during this stressful time. So when you're home, make a game plan for mental wellness. Reading or watching too much news about the virus can be overwhelming. It's okay to tune out sometimes and give yourself a break.
Coming up, the devastating story with a James Logan football star and how one night changed his life. We'll meet Jared Reynoso next.
And later, the sensational golfer from Parker as 49ers Cal High Sports continues.
People is asking me what I got on. They be like, hey Brandon, what you got on? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Invis is everything braces isn't. More comfortable, fewer emergency appointments. Invisalign.
It's understandable to feel anxious, stressed, or lonely because of COVID-19. Physical separation, your own health, and the health of friends and family can weigh heavily on you. Call a timeout on work. Get a game plan for mental wellness with crucial mental health resources from Cal Hope. We'll help you carry the ball. Call 1-833-317-HOPE to talk to someone who can help, or visit calhope.org. Cal Hope, official partner of the San Francisco 49ers.
Every day, the sun comes up. And right on cue, the work begins. We start every morning, knowing full well we're in it for the long haul. Our work is a labor of love. No task too small, no moment uncherished. And although we're not often thanked, we rest knowing that our work is making a brighter future. This is more than milk.
Invis is everything braces isn't. Eating the food you love, life uninterrupted. Invisalign.
Hi, we're the Washington High School cheerleaders, and you're watching
49ers Cal High Sports Report.
Welcome back. U.S. Bank helps bring us stories of inspirational athletes who overcome adversity to succeed in school and in sports.
Robert, sometimes life changes in an instant. Jared Reynoso will never be the same after what happened to him and his cousins on one very dark night.
A community is grieving after a horrible crash in Pleasanton on Christmas night.
On Christmas night in 2019, Jared Reynoso and his twin cousins, Mark and Michael Urista, went out driving with 2 other friends.
My sister called me around 10 or 11 saying that the boys were past their curfew and that they're not answering if I knew where he was at.
Angelica is Jared's mom.
Oh, like, this is not cool, man.
And this is her big sister, Anna, the twins' mom.
I'm like, hey, do you have GPS on Jared? And she's like, yeah, I have GPS on Jared. And I said, could you check? And she's like, it doesn't give me exact, but it kind of gives me. And the latest was Burnell and Pleasanton. I'm like, what the hell are they doing over there?
And then she called me back. She said, well, it's telling me that there's an accident on that way. And I said, no, don't think about that. I said, maybe they're in the movie theater.
So I hit the location and we're driving and it's like so dark. I can't see, you know? And I'm just like doing this because it's that pitch black. And all I see is then like a police car in all kinds of lights. There's a cop and he looks like pale, like he had a rough something. So we said, what happened? They said, sorry, you can't come through. There's been an accident, and the coroner's van comes.
Police told Anna, Mark and Michael's mom, that only 2 had survived the crash.
Who could the 2 be, right? I just thought, I lost somebody, either my Jared or one of my boys or both of my boys. I lost somebody.
Me and my husband went to Eden Hospital, and they said, do you have a picture of your son? And I said, yeah, I have from the night before, because it was Christmas Eve, and so I showed it to him. And then he said, okay, so yes, he's here, but he's in very critical condition.
And then we rushed to the hospital, and as soon as I walk in, and Angelica's like, where are the twins? And that's when I knew. That was like, that's when I knew I lost them.
Mark and Michael were gone, and so was their classmate and friend Javier Lopez. Jared, he was still fighting for his life.
They said they didn't know if he was going to make it.
It's been 13 months since that day. What has been one of the hardest parts about your recovery?
Not being able to talk.
Jared suffered a traumatic brain injury from the accident, a DAI.
The car had turned and everything. His brain went in 2 different directions.
Each neuron in the brain has a long cable called an axon. Those axons carry signals telling the body to do some sort of action like walk, speak, and swallow. The cables in Jared's brain tore apart during the accident, so Jared must build new connections and learn how to do all of those things over again. Jared's arm was also broken in multiple places, and doctors were hesitant to fix his arm because at the time of the accident, it wasn't clear if Jared would ever use his arm again.
And I said, you know, he's a football player, he needs that hand, you know. 6 to 8 hours it took for them to put the plate, and there was like 14 screws in there. It healed well. He could even rotate it, which they thought he wasn't going to be able to.
The arm surgery happened while Jared was still in a coma.
To see him like that, he was unresponsive, and I'm like, man, he's so strong. Like, when you would see him, say, on the field, anywhere, he's just so strong, like strong-minded. His body was so strong. I'm like, no, he looks so vulnerable, and I'm like, well, how could this even happen, you know?
Out of all of them, Jared was the only one trapped in there. And seeing the car, I don't know how he made it. I swear, I feel like he's like a miracle.
Jared was in a coma for 81 days.
He's coming, everywhere.
And on July 19th,
Jared's coming.
After almost 7 months in the hospital, Jared was released, and his community was waiting for him. What does that mean to you to know you had so many people there rooting for you?
It made me
Aside from memory loss, Jared's brain injury affects mostly his physical movement.
So he says, hello, mom. So it just depends, yeah. Mom. Say hello.
Jared would have been starting his junior season, his first on the varsity team at James Logan.
I feel
Jared is adamant he'll be back playing for the Colts his senior year, and doctors are optimistic. They say he might be able to recover and do all of the things other teenagers can do. Jared is making strides each and every day.
It's just like a repetition kind of thing that you just keep on going and going. But it's been hard, but it's also been very rewarding, right? Like, cause you see all the, like, you don't see it every day, but then you're like, man, last time he couldn't do this, or oh, this time he did this in therapy, you know? So you get excited and you're like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. But then you do have, you know, bad days too, you know, when you see how they say you go one step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing with the brain injuries, and it's feeling like that right now.
Angelica was an awesome mom, man. She'd done everything she could have done for him. Even as a baby, being a single mama, she has always put him and her kids before anybody else. And I very much admire that of her.
Do you feel lucky that, you know, Jared is still here with you?
I do, and you know, you kind of feel like guilty too, right? That's the thing. Because at the hospital, I remember telling her, I'm just so sorry. I said, Jared's alive, but I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know. I didn't know what to tell her.
And she said, I'm so sorry. She's telling me, sorry, but I feel guilty too. Like, I was in charge of them.
I felt so lucky that he was still alive, but I felt guilty that she didn't have.
I have a lot of guilt.
She said the same thing, that she felt guilty.
Yeah. She shouldn't. I'm like, I'm the older one. No.
Both Ana and Angelica say their relationship has become stronger. Last December, both families spent Christmas Eve together just like the year before.
Come on! Mark didn't even touch the box.
This time with Mark and Michael watching over them.
I don't know, you know, you just try to find like the good part of something, like they came together, they left together. I don't think they'll be forgotten. I'll make sure of that.
His shirt was all black and now it's bland. That just be the motivation.
Each day, Jared is getting stronger. He is motivated, not just for himself, but for his cousins, for his little brothers, and for his mother, who has not left his side. A year ago, Jared Reynoso was in a coma. And no matter where he is a year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now, Jared will always be a fighter, a survivor, a motivation.
One, two, three.
Doctors are telling Jared he is going to be able to walk again, and his mom is excited when that day comes because he gets to drive her around. And Jared is doing well in all of his classes, so he's on the up.
So, such a tragic story, and we were able to hear that he could say a few words now. Will he ever be able to speak completely again?
So right now they're working on strengthening his vocal cords and the muscles around his neck so he can talk and swallow again because he's on a feeding tube. But he is able to eat some food, and those are mostly vegetables because Jared says he doesn't want to gain weight for football. So he's just, you know, eating mashed up potatoes and stuff. Very good. Well, we certainly wish him the best. Wingstop brings us the Wings of an Angel honor each week, where a student athlete talks about their favorite teacher. Here's Frankie Arreguin from James Logan talking about his favorite teacher, Stacy Diaz.
This year, my favorite teacher has to be Miss Diaz. She's really made virtual learning a place where, you know, it feels like a classroom almost, even though we're at home. And just the way she teaches, it makes things actually engaging in class, and I feel like I'm not just staring at a screen all day.
Our Wings of an Angel teacher will receive a Wingstop gift card for doing such a great job.
Wingstop is also honoring Terry Blanchard, a Wingstop owner who passed away this past spring from COVID-19. Wingstop will be supporting scholarships for athletes of color in Terry's honor. Those scholarships to be presented at our awards ceremony in June.
Coming up, the Harker golfer who's under par on the course, but way over par in the classroom.
And the Palo Alto basketball player who led his team to a state title is this week's Clover-Sonoma Dairy Deja Mu athlete.
Are you ready to sink your teeth into a lemon pepper, sweet and spicy Korean cute-tastic mango habanero
master class in all things wings?
Yes, I am.
Are you though?
I'll take that.
Get the new all-in bundle for just $19.99. Available for delivery and carry-out for a limited time. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Piercy Honda, located right off Highway 880 in Milpitas, is where you will find hundreds of new and pre-owned Hondas to choose from. Low credit score, no credit, first-time buyer? No problem, Piercy Honda can help. Find us online at piercyhonda.com to search our inventory, calculate your payments, and even complete your purchase. Piercy Honda is home to great customer service, great deals, and a more convenient way to buy a new or pre-owned Honda. Go to Piercy Honda in Milpitas.
The Guzmans were about to close on a home they adored, but at the last minute, their mortgage company denied their loan because the unusual home didn't meet their usual loan requirements. Heartbroken, they turned to Tri-Counties Bank home mortgage loan specialist Vincent Pagera. Specializing in custom loans for unique homes, his team quickly designed a creative solution, uniting the Guzmans and their home just in time. That's a perfect match. For personalized problem solving, switch to Tri-Counties Bank. Service with solutions.
49ers Cal High Sports is brought to you by these fine companies who care about high school sports. By DGDG.com, where we want you to be a happy car buyer. By the Rikes Center, where goals and dreams become a reality. By Tri-Counties Bank, service with solutions. 12 locations now open in the Bay Area. And by the Serena Group, here for good.
I'm Kathleen Pazine with Serena Group Real Estate, and I'm proud to support Bay Area high school sports on the 49ers Cal High Sports Report.
Welcome back to 49ers Cal High Sports. Up next we have the DGDG feature athlete, an outstanding golfer from the Harker School.
In 2019, Jessica Zhou moved to the United States all the way from Hong Kong to attend high school. A long way from home, but Jessica quickly found a second home in the Harker golf team.
Harker sophomore golfer Jessica Zhou grew up in Hong Kong. In August 2019, Jessica moved to the United States to attend high school. Fast forward a year and a half later, and Jessica is a valuable member on the Harker golf team and in her community. Harker sophomore golfer Jessica Zhou was born in the United States, but moved to Hong Kong when she was 2 years old. Education was so important to Jessica that she decided to move back to the United States, leaving her parents and sister thousands of miles away.
I thought that, high school might give me a better chance at exploring other opportunities that I might not get in Hong Kong. And also prospects of university also played a part in it.
Jessica was taken in by a host family when she arrived in San Jose.
They're a couple and they're both teachers, so they've had experiences with students and children. So yeah, I stay with them. And it's really good. I'm really thankful for everything they've done for me and taking me in for these 4 years.
Jessica started playing golf in Hong Kong when she was 11. Her passion for the sport grew when she got to Harker.
I didn't really get the full kind of feeling of golf in a team until I really arrived here in the US and joined my school team, and from there on it was just absolutely falling in love with my team, with the sport a little more.
Jessica tried out for the Harker golf team as a freshman. She was shocked when she made the varsity squad.
It really surprised me when I barely made it, but I'm glad I did, and I definitely hope to continue to improve and to continue to make it so I can continue with this team.
Jessica was listed as the 6th player on the team's stacked roster and knew she had to work hard to help the team.
She knows that all her teammates are counting on her to contribute, and she's taking it a lot more seriously, practicing, and yeah, and it's just really, really awesome to see her growth, right? And you know, she's already starting to get, you know, some college letters that perhaps, hey, you know, this is a brand new avenue, like, hey, you could be playing college golf. And so this is something that, you know, is exciting for her.
Jessica improved immensely. At the West Bay Athletic League tournament at the end of her freshman season, Jessica finished tied for 6th.
It wasn't like a huge tournament, but it was that like pivoting point that like really made me just feel so happy and thankful that I'm here and this has all happened, and reflect on all the memories that led up to this moment.
Playing golf at Harker has made Jessica's transition to the United States a lot easier.
Just being part of a team really kind of eases the transition of, you know, not only a new school, right, but a new country, right? And I think the fact that, you know, the other girls are so accepting and receiving of her, you know, we love Jessica's personality. It really shines through.
Along with golf, Jessica is very involved in the community. At the beginning of the pandemic, Jessica raised money to supply hospitals with personal protective equipment.
A lot of my family actually reside in Wuhan, and my grandma used to work at a couple of the hospitals there. And so when this first started, you know, it was very concerning because it showed that there was a serious lack of resources and equipment. Through a lot of networking and reaching out to friends, we raised a little over $10,000 USD to donate, you know, to buy like masks and other equipment, like PPE equipment, to the hospitals in Wuhan, as well as like some to Stanford Hospital.
This busy student athlete also serves as co-president of the nonprofit organization International Outlook Foundation.
We aim to kind of connect youths all around the globe, as well as help out those who are not as privileged or are in need. One part is this Pen Pal program that we have between students in the US and students so far in Shenzhen, China, where, you know, the two sides can just connect and talk with each other. We've been doing like fundraisers and charity work to help the rural schools that we support. And, you know, a lot of them are primary schools, as well as like specific students who need this financial aid.
Jessica is a 19-hour flight away from her loved ones in Hong Kong, but the Harker golf team has become a second family for Jessica.
She knows that she has a great support system, whether it's her teammates or, you know, myself, and, you know, and just knowing that, hey, we can always text each other and we always wish each other happy holidays, and hey, let's go play a round of golf, right? Like I said, golf is such a great, you know, social sport, and that, hey, let's spend a few hours in the, you know, afternoon and play some golf, get better, but also just, you know, spend quality time with each other. And we always say, you know, your team is your second family, right? And especially for her, I think it's been very good for her.
Harker sophomore golfer Jessica Zhou arrived in the United States in 2019. In just a short amount of time, she finished as one of the top 10 golfers in the league and raised thousands of dollars for those in need. Jessica plans on staying in the United States to attend college and will continue to give it her all on the course and in her volunteer work during her final 2 years at Harker. Jessica's teammates on the Harker golf team were the first people she bonded with when she moved to the United States. Jessica is looking forward to finally reuniting with her team this upcoming season. Robert and Aubrey, back to you.
Thanks, Danielle. Jessica wasn't able to go home to Hong Kong during the winter break because of the coronavirus, so hopefully she can get back there soon.
Yeah, very tough to be away from your family during the holidays. Coming up, we'll meet this week's Lexus of Stevens Creek Volunteer Award winner, Samantha Meisenheimer from Alhambra Lacrosse.
And later, the California high school tight end and his relationship with a former 49ers star. 49ers Cal High Sports will be right back.
Lexus of Stevens Creek brings us the Volunteer Award, part of the Lexus of Stevens Creek commitment to promoting volunteerism.
This week's Lexus of Stevens Creek Volunteer Award goes to Samantha Meisenheimer from the Alhambra High School Girls Lacrosse team. Samantha spent over 200 hours during this pandemic writing thank you cards and letters for healthcare workers in hospitals and clinics. Samantha also volunteered as a peer tutor and peer mentor at Alhambra and was a prominent member of the Key Club, where she spent over 80 hours volunteering in different events and fundraisers. Samantha talks about why it's so important to volunteer.
Volunteering is really important for kids my age because it teaches them to be a better member in our community and to be a better leader and to help others. Like with creating the letters for healthcare workers, it teaches you to realize how hard people are working and to appreciate them and to help give back and encourage them for whatever they're going through. And with tutoring and mentoring, I know from personal experiences how hard school can be and how not everyone has hundreds of dollars to spend on help. So it's great that I can give back and help my fellow peers who maybe can't afford a $1,000 tutor through the process of high school and with getting ready for college and just succeeding in school overall.
The Harker School honors top athletes for their work in the classroom each week. This week's Harker Scholar athlete is Lauren Fulton from Valley Christian. Lauren has a 4.25 GPA.
Brought to you by the Harker School, 9th graders Cynthia Wang, Shreya Murchia, Reza Jalil, and Vardan Guy are regional finalists in the 2021 Wharton Global High School Investment Competition, becoming one of the top 50 teams in the world out of nearly 1,000 entries. They now move on to the regional finals in March. At Harker, transitional kindergarten through 12th grade students discover their passions. Learn more at harker.org. Coming up, Gabe Quezada, a 6'4" freshman tight end looking for success with the help of his fallen siblings.
This is 49ers Cal High Sports. We'll be right back.
Some see a grilled cheese sandwich and ask why. I see a new kitchen with a grill and ask why not.
I really need to start adding less to cart and more to savings.
Sitting on this couch so long made me want to make some changes, starting with this couch.
Yeah, I need a house with a different view. And this is the bank that will help you do it all. Because at U.S. Bank, our people are dedicated to turning your new inspiration into your next pursuit.
It's understandable to feel anxious, stressed, or lonely because of COVID-19. Physical separation, your own health, and the health of friends and family can weigh heavily on you. Call a timeout on work. Get a game plan for mental wellness with crucial mental health resources from CalHope. We'll help you carry the ball. Call 1-833-317-HOPE to talk to someone who can help, or visit calhope.org. CalHope, official partner of the San Francisco 49ers.
For more than 65 years, Cupertino Electric has been delivering power and possibilities. With offices throughout California and project sites throughout the U.S., Cupertino Electric today builds renewable, commercial, utility, and data center projects for some of the most influential companies in the world. Beyond that, we are a people company. We build family, communities, and meaningful careers. Visit CEI.com today or connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or other social sites to see our openings and join our team.
Devcon Construction is #1 in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley because of trust. 95% of our business comes from repeat customers. They know the customer is our top priority. That's why Devcon was the choice for the 49ers Stadium and for the Earthquake Stadium. Devcon was also chosen when outstanding schools like Bellarmine, the Nueva School, and Mitty wanted the very best on time and on budget. Top Bay Area companies know Devcon is the best choice whether it's new construction or renovation. Devcon Construction, helping to build the best in Silicon Valley.
We are back with this week's Albany's Construction feature story.
Aubrey, tonight we meet a 6'4" freshman tight end from California High School. Gabe Quezada has a hero in the NFL and 2 angels looking on from above. In his spare time during the pandemic, Gabriel Quezada is here helping young children learn the game of football.
And I heard that there was a lot more kids out here today, so I know little kids are very difficult to deal with just one singular parent or a coach, and so I wanted to help the little kids and try and teach them so they can be here for generations and more.
Ready, go. Gabe is not only a football player, he's a football fan. In fact, watching a game at 6 years old, he found his favorite player.
It just happened. I was watching a Niner game and I saw him get hurt, and from there on, I always thought, when I figured his name out, I was like, oh, I like Delaney Walker. Every game, every Niner game, I was trying to see if he was out there and playing until I can copy his moves.
The two developed a relationship and were finally able to meet face to face.
I was around like 7 or 8, I believe. It was the first time I met him. It was like a small charity event that he had, and I finally got to meet him, and it was one of the best moments.
I seen a young man. He was excited about football, and you know, he was his mother was a single parent, and I grew up that way, so I seen a little bit in myself and him, and just really motivate him. Just said, look, if you can play football, you can play football, but education is going to be the key. If you have the talent, it'll show. Somebody will find you, but make sure you get an education. And I guess it just stuck with them because they would message me, they would see me around, and I would always have the same message, but he would get bigger and bigger every time I seen him.
Gabe is hoping to play this season as a freshman at California High School. He says even if it's just half a season, getting into a high school game would be amazing for this 6'4", 15-year-old.
Obviously keeping safe, keeping 6 feet away from other people, and I've been doing some like small here and there cardio with my mom. We've been hiking very big hills so I can work on my thighs and my calves and all the important muscles in my legs.
As he goes about his day, Gabe knows there are 2 people looking after him. When Gabe was just 3, his mom was pregnant, only to lose unborn Matthew.
My son Matthew actually had spina bifida, found out later on in my pregnancy, but decided that was what I was given, and I was going to have Gabriel, and I was also going to have Matthew, and Matthew might have, had special needs, and I was prepared to live that life, and got the call that I needed to go in and have an emergency delivery, and unfortunately he didn't make it.
Then 2 years later, another pregnancy and another tragedy.
And then 2 years later I was given another devastating blow. My daughter's heart stopped. Again, no real cause, just...
How old was she?
She was 7 months inside.
2 siblings Gabe would never meet. He was very young at the time. His mom explained all that happened when he visited the gravesite at age 5. Gabe says his brother and sister are a big part of his life.
I just feel it. I just feel it like before I start a game, after I start a game, during the game. Like if I do something good, I always point to the sky just to make sure that they could see it, just so they know that I'm doing it for them.
Gabriel was my miracle child, and that's kind of how I've lived my life. Is I'm going to do what I need to do for him. His brother and sister are going to watch over us and keep him safe on the football field, it's a pretty rough sport. Luckily no injuries, and we contribute it to them just watching him.
Now 13 years later, both Gabe and his mom are at peace with the loss.
Well, of course I was young, and I always wondered why are they there, but now that I'm matured, it's I'm happy, of course I want them to have that sibling relationship with them, they can go to my games, I go to theirs, I take care of them, but I know that they're there. I always know. They're always in my heart, and they're always going to be there no matter what.
It's hard because sometimes I'm how was I so lucky? I mean, I guess in hindsight, maybe this was God's plan, was for me to focus my energy on Gabriel. He's a great kid. I know his brother and sister would have just been as equally great. But sometimes I just have to realize that I have this amazing kid here who's doing amazing things in his community, and just to be proud about him.
Jennifer supports Gabe's football aspirations, but as a mom, especially a mom who has lost 2 children, she is nervous about Gabe possibly getting hurt.
Last season, there was one play and I got so emotional and, got crazy. That crazy mom in the stands yelling and screaming, that was me. And for me, it's not just about overprotecting. I want these kids to play, and I know it's the concussion and all of the injuries that could happen. I'm trying to do everything right to make sure he's playing in an organization that encourages healthy football.
Gabe is doing very well in school with a 3.8 GPA. He volunteers here with the young players and is looking forward to playing high school football. He hopes to be just like Delanie Walker and someday play in the NFL. Until then, he's doing everything right to reach his goal.
Honestly, as a woman raising a young boy, amazing. I could not have been blessed with a more well-rounded individual. I don't have to harass him about getting his homework done.
A young football player helping even younger players as he strives to meet his goals. Gabe says his dad is very much in his life and loves to come watch him play, which hopefully will be sometime this spring.
Very soon, hopefully. Within, we won't even try to put a time on it.
Well, stop guessing.
All right, be sure to check us out on social media for lots of fun content, including videos, news updates, and lots more. We're at 49ers Cal High everywhere, including TikTok.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates on when new videos are posted each week. We have videos going back several years, so go to our YouTube channel to find your highlights from the past. Coming up, it's Deja Mu as we catch up with this former Palo Alto basketball player.
You're watching 49ers Cal High Sports, the #1 high school sports show in the nation.
49ers Cal High Sports is brought to you by these fine companies who care about high school sports. By Lexus of Stevens Creek, we get it. By Clover Sonoma, the #1 milk brand in Northern California and proud partners of the 49ers. And by Devcon Construction, build, design, perform, sustain.
It's Deja Mu. Clover Sonoma Dairy helps us look back at high school stars now grazing in the professional fields.
This week we feature former Palo Alto High School star Jeremy Lin. Jeremy led the Vikings to a 32-1 record, beating Mater Dei to win the state title in 2006. With no Division I offers, Lin went to Harvard, where he set all sorts of records. No team chose Lin in the 2010 NBA draft, so he signed on as a free agent with the Golden State Warriors. He was claimed off waivers in 2011 by the New York Knicks, and Lin's sanity was about to be born. After a series of injuries with the Knicks, Lin was able to become a starter. He led the team to a 7-game win streak, part of an incredible run. After an injury, Lin played for 7 different NBA squads and became the first Asian American to win an NBA title with the Toronto Raptors in 2019. He is now back with the Warriors, playing in the G League in Santa Cruz.
Coming up, the stories we will be featuring on next week's show.
But first, here's this week's training tip by our good friends at the Rega Center.
I'm Andrew Havili, and today's training tip is a medicine ball slam. Ella's going to reach the medicine ball up, slam it down, and land like she's landing off of a jump. Okay, so this is to replicate how you would land if you were jumping way up and landing with force. Go ahead again. If you want to progress it, you can go a split slam, you can step into it, do whatever you want to do. This is a medicine ball slam.
That's our 49ers Cal High Sports for this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Robert Bronstein.
And I'm Aubrey Tolliver. Join us next week. We'll meet the fireballer from Live Oak.
Who's headed to Cal.
Who is headed to Cal.
That's right. We'll see you then.